If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, reaching you from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. And BKO is back, and I have GKB too, Gladikaide Balogun Osiare.
And Aremo.
I don't know. It's better a chief.
Kolade Otoju. Cannot be a chief, he's a prince now.
No,
Prince.
Simply Mr.
Mr. Kolade Otoju. Okay. Not Okulora again.
Babajide. You know, the titles, I mean, those, I'm not returning the chieftaincy title.
Okay.
So I don't have to be called.
Okulora, the mouthpiece of.
But you know, a prince can no longer be a chief. It's an anomaly.
Really?
You are above titles now.
Oh. Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you, I'm the historian of this table.
Yes. He's in a better position.
No, you're a culture icon on the
Yeah.
not the historian.
Okay. The culture icon. And the culture states clearly.
You shouldn't get it twisted.
Don't call yourself a historian.
Culturally.
I can ask questions that you won't be able to.
Culturally, you can no longer take that as the Aremo. You can no longer take.
No, I'm not arguing with that, but when you sit before your historian,
Okay.
and you are saying you are the historian on the table, I can take you to realms that will show who really is the historian between us.
Moving on now.
You are aware that my position as
But I know that as a culture icon.
Okay.
I give it to you, Yoruba culture icon. I'm proud of the fact that you are a culture icon.
Okay. Prince Otoju. Ceasefire. Moving on.
No, we are not fighting. I cannot fight Aremo now.
All right. 4 months after the conclusion of the 2023 general election, the outcome is still being challenged at the courts of public opinion and that of law. The presidency has rejected a report by the European Union Electoral Observer Mission on the 2023 general election, describing it as a product of a poorly done desk job that relied heavily on a few persons. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, President Bola Tinubu said he has reasons to believe that the jaundiced report, based on the views of just 50 observers, will merely sustain the same premature stance contained in the EU's preliminary reports released in March. This is very, very heavy, interesting, because we saw a lot of reports. The African Union gave their report, the European Union gave their report, Yaga Africa gave their report, and other people that monitored the election. But this European Union, they came with 50 persons on ground. And the argument is that out of 179,000 polling units, that how come you were omnipresent, so to say, in the 179,000 polling units, that you could come to a conclusion with your, just 50 man on ground.
Very shallow sample.
The entire sample area was just about maximum of 1,000 polling centers.
Yeah.
Out of more than 170-something thousand. It's easy to simply dismiss an electoral outcome based on a few incidents here and there. And the Deputy Governor of Lagos State said that, look, even when you talk about voter intimidation in Lagos, we are not saying it didn't happen. We have condemned it. The people believe that, Jide is an hypocrite because they are hypocrites. They've seen me here condemn the intimidation of voters on election day at least 3-4 times. Even on your view, I condemned it. They say, he will not talk about it. Because he thinks APC, they will come for him, this and that. Not everyone can be like you people. I stand by what I believe is right. And I said, look, intimidating people by way of trying to suppress votes is not acceptable. We do not want it. We do not want it. I do not want to see it. I've condemned it. They will not talk about the fact that I've condemned it. They would behave like it was a non-event. But because they were thinking it will never be man enough to condemn it, why will I not condemn it? I felt that it was wrong, and I did condemn it. And I'm still condemning it here now.
Voter suppression.
Yes, here in Lagos. I opposed it.
In the entire election.
So now, what we are saying is, you cannot signpost that election with an incident that the deputy governor of Lagos State correctly captured as having taken place in just less than 1% of the entire, I think, more than 13,000 polling centers in Lagos.
Yes, in Lagos.
Just less than 1%. You can't use that to tar the entire election. You can't use one brush to tar the entire election. Make it look like that's what happened everywhere. And I've given the example. I said, look, you don't have to beat people to win an election. In Magodo here, Mojid and others, where they voted, they won, the APC won with a hefty margin. They didn't beat anybody. But in the previous election, that same place, they lost. That is the presidential. Yes. By the time of the governorship election, they mobilized better. We talked about the things that made them to do badly in the election. And they worked on it. Those who like the truth, those who do not like the truth will say, oh, it's simply because Christians turned against them. No. They didn't work hard enough by way of mobilizing for the election. By the time they were complacent, even agents, some agents, until after the election, they were not paid. It didn't happen in the second election. In some cases, and I'm sure the deputy governor can testify to this, by Thursday, the same agents that had not been paid until after Saturday, they were paid as early as Thursday, which was an improvement. And it helped them because they mobilized better. The kind of votes that came out of Alimosho, we didn't see it in the governorship election. We didn't see it in the presidential election.
Far cry.
Some of the people that they fought against, internal quarrel within the APC, where some people will assume that they are bigger than everybody, say, go to hell, nothing will happen. When they didn't do well in the first election, they went back to start begging some of those people.
Their tails between their legs,
Tails in between legs, they went begging some of those people, and we saw the result. Everyone jumped in to make sure that they got a better outcome.
That got 700 and something thousand votes.
Yes. So
the runner-up of 200.
Yes. So now in that election, you cannot say, oh, this is because they were beating people. In many places were those incidents recorded.
No incidents in Fakojaye.
I said, is it okay, those rich people in Magodo, are they the ones that you'll be flogging with Koboko?
Why would you say?
Who was beating people in Mojid's polling center? Is the biggest. More than 400 votes. Whom did they beat? It didn't stop them from winning, but they lost in the first election. People were taken for granted in the first election. They had to appease them, and it was the difference maker. So this is the thing. We talked about this. They asked me on your view. They said, if they didn't intimidate, do you think they will have won? I said, they do not have to intimidate to win. You have the population on your side. What you didn't do was you didn't mobilize enough. You were complacent. You thought the name of Tinubu can simply win an election. An election, what you do on election day matters a lot.
All over the world.
All over the world. What is called get out the vote. That is what determines who wins elections in the US. On election day, you must come out. Mobilize people because people are naturally lazy on election day. They want to watch it on TV. You get out, you are knocking on every door. Because people that you had campaigned to repeatedly, on election day, they can get lethargic and not come out. But you're knocking on, you get volunteers to be knocking on people's doors to say, go out and vote. The D-Day has come. Don't compromise your right to vote. And people will come out and vote. And we saw it in Lagos, in the governorship election. So I do not believe that it makes sense to simply dismiss. You know, a lot of what we are saying is because they did not post on IREP. That's all. This election, what people are saying, oh, why did they post on IREP? Go and check the presidential election, for example. How many places did they record incidents like voter intimidation and all that? It's just the IREF that they're talking about, that they didn't post on IREF.
That became a major advantage.
How can that then be simply used to destroy the entire election, in which we saw people that ordinarily in the past they wouldn't have won? Will an Okada rider have been able to get into the National Assembly?
You read the report.
Yeah, I read it.
Now, breaking it down, do you think they now have enough material to arm the election petition tribunal with, as in, with this kind of this? Can it in any way influence?
That ship has sailed, as you know, because they finished their own case. The PDP and Labour Party. They've closed.
Too late. It's INEC defending.
It's the INEC now that will now defend, and then they can cross-examine. You cannot bring in new facts. So that one, that ship, long time ago. So it's not going to make any difference. But like Femi, Dr. Femi Amsa said, no court of law, either public or constitutional, is going to change anything based on an insignificant amount of incidents in an election. That's why when people in science, when people are talking, they will talk about the sample size. So you will not know that our sample size is XYZ. And it does not reflect fundamentally the way majority of people
Altered
the way they do. So to me, because that's why the report is going to voter apathy and lack of women, because they are looking for things to judge, or like akpamo. Just to make
heavy on those.
So that's because there is no case to be made that the elections were flawed fundamentally. And because you can't do that, you don't have to do what we call primary school, to the answer. So we want to do a report that will show that this election was dishonest. Let's put A, let's put B. If the one will stick along the line. So that's why when I saw the reaction, I was amused. Because I've read the reports and there were no smoking guns there. There were no silver bullets. Just observation of a very small group, a very minute space within the sample size. Because to do Nigeria today, you cannot do sample size of the Southwest. So our Southwest does not reflect other Nigeria.
Yes.
You cannot do a sample size of the Southeast.
Or South.
Southeast does not reflect other Nigeria. You cannot even do it in Kano. Because Kano is not a reflection of even Jigawa or Gombe or Yobe. These are peculiar nature that's only environmental in size. So when people do reports like this, you laugh. But we have this residual colonial mentality that whatever Igbo says must be correct. Because they are Igbo, as it were.
Jide, I've been covering elections, I think, since 1999, thereabout. I have not seen a time that the European Union have come out this categorical. I don't know. I don't have any record. Why do you think this is happening now?
Oh, they've had cause in the past to complain about conduct of our elections. But this...
Submitting a final report.
You know, for them, a lot of them were also anticipating a particular outcome. The West generally believed that Peter Obi will win the election.
Yes, CNN projected 46%.
Absolute rubbish.
Give it to Peter Obi.
You are not in Nigeria. You are not in Nigeria. You know, we saw some of them even saying Peter Obi would defeat Kwankwaso in Kano. I mean, there's nothing in my view, borderline madness. To imagine that Peter Obi will go and defeat, and these were opinion polls that and they were happy to push it out.
How now? How? Even Ganduje, how now? You can't.
Even Ganduje cannot boast that at that level.
A sitting governor.
You know? It's like even when you are doing such sampling and you limit it to people who have Android phones,
in Sabongiri,
then don't go to Kano. Don't go to Kano. A good number of the people, they have no business with phones.
People in no man's land.
They have phones, it's just phones where they can use to call their children. That's all. We have not reached that level whereby you can conduct opinion poll. Yes, a lot of us have phones, but how many of those phones are Androids? Are they literate enough to be able to, on their own, to say, okay, this. So that means your opinion poll is for only a privileged few. That's why those outcomes were like that. And somebody called me and said, the way these people are going, projecting that a man that is not even likely to come second will win the election. By the time he loses, they will start saying that no, he did not deserve to lose, so this and that. I was told that will happen. Look at an election in which Kaduna State, controlled by the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu only won one local government.
And
it wasn't even the local government of the governor. He won Brinengwari.
South.
Brinengwari, that the local government that he visited at night. He was the only presidential candidate who could find the courage to visit Brinengwari.
Yes. Bandits.
So it's a killing field. It's a killing field. All of them chose not to go there. But he went there at night, and they gave him a traditional title, and they rewarded him with victory. That's the only local government that Asiwaju won. A PDP won Kaduna with a comfortable margin.
Of the presidential election.
Yes. A comfortable margin. So what are we talking about? In the past, they would simply have written results. They won't even agree. I've said before, somebody said, oh, how can we allow the vice president to lose an election in his home state? And they changed a result that had previously been announced during the Obasanjo regime, 2003. They changed the result. People had already been congratulating the winner. They changed it that no. How can the vice president lose in his home state? They changed in this country. We are now behaving like we didn't know.
The number of voters will be more than the number of registered voters.
Obasanjo in 2003 election, the result from Ogun State was higher than the number of registered voters. I was in Supreme Court when it was decided. I covered the judgment of the Supreme Court.
You forgot Rivers, where every registered voter voted.
On a rainy day.
Brass in River State.
Everybody.
On a rainy day.
Brass in River State.
Everybody voted.
You know, on a rainy day, you are not supposed to even get so many people.
Everybody.
But the turnout
And they
was
voted
about
for a
90%.
particular political party.
So
Nobody
these
felt you.
people have forgotten. I've seen boys who were in their diapers when we began covering elections say this is the worst in Nigeria. How old are you? How many elections? Did you see wet here? Did you see 1983?
Also, House of War.
That you can speak with finality that this is the worst election in Nigerian history. Did you see 1983?
They are a generation of absolutes. Everything.
They mean everything. Just decide. Oh, your opinion should nobody should disagree with your opinion. That's what we see on social media. Everyone has an opinion, even on matters that they are not educated about. And it's that opinion that they want to ram down the throats of other people. That is what we see from an unreading generation. A generation that is extremely limited in terms of the knowledge in their heads. Yet they want you to take their opinion. Opinion that is not a product of consistent reading. Even journalists. You see journalists, unreading journalists, sitting in their studios, wearing cheap suits, and simply pontificating, getting magisterial about matters that they are not educationally qualified. They are not educationally qualified. We know we are people that you should be hanging out with. They are not even supposed to be hanging out with human beings. By your training. This is why should you be surprised that the European Union will simply dismiss an election where 7 governors could not win senatorial elections, where the APC, the ruling party, lost 20 or 22 states. You know what it means for a ruling party to lose that many?
I think the inability of INEC to upload the results of that IRF obliterated all these facts that people really they easily forgot.
IRF, while the idea of the IRF,
they are feeling that look, the level of transparency.
See, the IRF is not the primary evidence. The primary evidence is still the
ECHA.
That is the one that everybody signs. That is the primary source.
Take to court.
That is the primary source recognized by law, by the Constitution. So if for any reason you add, an INEC is permitted to decide what the format to use, whether electronic or manual.
But they promised Nigerians.
They promised Nigerians, but they claim that they suffered a glitch. Or are we saying it is not possible to experience a glitch.
For technology to
Even in the UK, in the US, the Obamacare issue, have we forgotten what happened?
crashed.
Did it not crash? Did the portal not crash? Are we now saying that it's impossible to suffer technological glitch at any point in time? Didn't FCMB suffer a computer glitch that was posting money to people's accounts? Yes.
Not only
They
that,
had to apologize now. And they posted it into Magu's friend's account. And they took that to the president.
Absolutely,
Magu,
I remember.
We told you Magu is a thief.
Yes, 750 million.
Something that they eventually reversed, though,
And FCMB
apologized in
apologized.
national dailies. But Nigerians held on to that and said Magu is a thief. We told you that money that was put inside his account, and they used it to convince the president that we told you. So, was that not a glitch? You suddenly wake up in an account where you normally will have like 15 million. And then you saw hefty money.
750 million. Actually.
You know?
oh,
That's the kind of dream that
Normally,
people hope to wake up.
Yes,
You know,
now
you-
you get the alarm.
You are dreaming
God
of
will.
750 million.
God
You
will.
don't want to wake up from that dream.
God,
But when you wake up and you see yourself, you look at your surroundings,
you look at the phone
you
again.
become sad again. You become sad. Now, why did I wake up from this fantastic?
So please stop talking about 750 million. And you're saying- I think the problem is that when you tell people that sites will crash once they are overloaded, people don't want to be.
That thing could even actually accommodate just 2 million people.
But imagine the number of people going to
For
that
2 million.
site.
Did it not
Yes.
happen to Zenith Bank during the Naira coloration?
After them.
Did it not happen?
even his
Were people
standards.
able to use
Till
it?
now.
No, it's a lot better.
Now we've not recovered.
Don't even talk about First Bank. Don't even talk about-
I don't want to talk about that man.
The challenge we face as a people is that whatever we heard first is what we run with. We are not a people given to changing our minds. We don't want to be confused with facts. We don't like it. It's too dangerous. We like to be told things that validates our position. Then we can move forward. Because we've been telling people on this program and other numerous programs that this is possible. But they keep telling us, no, why that day? Because that day is the only day that number of people will go online to check the results. They will not go on the 24th. They don't have to go on the 26th. It was only that day. And that's why it crashed.
How many attacks we even suffered?
No, we don't want
in
people
those
to talk
48
about
hours?
that.
Cyber attack.
Yes, cyber attacks that we suffer. No, we are not technical people. We don't know why this happened. But you can't invalidate an election just because of one issue that they could not post on IREV. You can't.
The ECH form is still
You
available.
can't. You can't.
prove it
Even the biggest democracy in the world, India, their election is both electronic and manual.
It's dual, yeah.
It's both electronic and manual for such a big. It's now the biggest
dual voting.
by population. India has overtaken China.
That's the biggest democracy in the world.
It has overtaken China as even the most populous country in the world now. This year, it overtook China. So, and the election is both manual and electronic. So, before we could not post on IREV, cannot invalidate an election. We have people's testimonies. Those who say, if not for Beavers, I would have lost this election. There are people like that. You know?
And vice versa.
Yes.
If not for Beavers, I will have won.
Actually, that. Osiare,
I don't
thank you,
know
GKB. Thank you. And
Ademo,
Thank you.
Baba Jirikolade Otitoju, the master himself.
Simply, mister.
Welcome back.
I'm going to.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program at 5. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.